Many families say something very similar when they first reach out for help. They say, I feel like I should have seen this coming, or I feel like I missed all the warning signs. But here is something very important I want you to hear today. Most families did see the signs. They just explained them away in ways that felt a little bit less scary. And that is something human beings do when we love someone. So you are okay. You're all right. When we care about someone deeply, our brain tries to protect us from painful conclusions. So instead of saying something serious might be happening, our brain tends to say something like, maybe they're just stressed. Maybe work has them really overwhelmed, and maybe they're going through a rough patch, and maybe this will pass, and all sorts of things like that. Hope is powerful. Hope keeps families going, but hope without clarity can keep families stuck for a long, long time. So today we're going to slow down and talk about 5 warning signs that families often overlook or explain away. Not because families are careless and not because families are naive, but because seeing these patterns clearly can feel very painful. And I want you to know something right now. Recognizing warning signs does not mean that you are judging someone. Recognizing a warning sign does not mean that you are giving up on someone. It simply means you are choosing to see patterns clearly as they are. And patterns matter. When families understand patterns easily, they can respond calmly and wisely, and instead of waiting until a crisis forces you to take action. So let's talk about warning sign number 1. Personality changes. One of the earliest signs families noticed is a shift in the personality. Someone who used to be patient may come home suddenly very irritable, and someone that used to enjoy being around families may want to pull away and be isolated. And someone who used to laugh and talk may be quiet or emotionally distant. Families often say something like this: I feel like I don't even recognize them anymore. And that feeling matters. Substances affect the brain. They can change how the brain handles stress, and they can change how mood and sleep and patience and emotional reactions all come about. So over time, you may notice quicker anger and shorter patience and mood swings and emotional distance and less interest in family activities. And because these changes often happen slowly, families sometimes adjusted them without even realizing it. I know that my family did. You may start saying things like, that's just how they are now, or something like that. But if someone's personality changes in a lasting way, it really does deserve attention. Because sometimes personality changes are the first sign and the first signal that something deeper is happening. So let's talk about warning sign number 2, financial problems. Financial problems that don't make sense. Money patterns are often the clearest early warning sign, and families may notice things like their loved one asking to borrow money and disappearing money and unexplained purchases and unpaid bills and selling personal belongings. And at first, explanations may sound reasonable, like, I just need help with this, and I had an unexpected expense this week, and I'll pay you back soon. It's no big deal. And sometimes those explanations are true. But when financial problems keep happening over and over again, it is important to pause and look at the pattern. Substance use can become very expensive. As use increases, people may start making financial decisions that they would not normally make. That doesn't mean someone is a bad person, and it only means that the behavior may be connected to something deeper, and that deeper something needs attention. Warning sign number 3, strong defensiveness. This is huge. Another warning sign families often describe is intense defensiveness. You might ask a simple question like, hey, you seem really tired today. Are you okay? And suddenly the conversation becomes really tense, and you might hear your loved one say, why are you always accusing me? And stop trying to control me, and you're overreacting. Over time, these reactions can make families feel like they are walking on eggshells. You may stop asking questions because every conversation turns into a conflict. Something else can happen too. Families sometimes begin questioning their own reality. You might think, I'm the one that's crazy, and I'm imagining things, and maybe I'm being too sensitive. But if calm concern leads to strong defensiveness, that pattern is important. It may mean that the person feels threatened by questions about their behavior. Something to think about. Warning sign number 4, isolation. Substance use problems often grow stronger in secrecy. And as the use increases, people start to pull away from others that will question this. Families may notice things like skipping family events and avoiding gatherings and spending more time alone and staying out late with new friends and being very private about their schedules. You might think, well, why don't they want to be around us anymore? But isolation is often not about the family. It may be about protecting behavior and protecting them from being asked questions. Recognizing isolation as a pattern can help families understand what may be happening beneath the surface. Now, warning sign number 5. The clearest sign that substance use is becoming a serious concern is escalation. Addiction rarely stays the same. It usually grows over time. And escalation can look like using more often and needing a stronger substance and using larger amounts and taking bigger risks and experiencing more consequences. Sometimes families are confused because there's still periods where everything seems normal. Maybe there are a few weeks where everything seems calm, but the pattern then returns. And over time, the overall direction keeps moving upward and upward. This is escalation. Understanding escalation helps families avoid being misled by short periods where things seem better and okay. So how can families respond? Well, recognizing warning signs doesn't mean reacting with panic. It doesn't mean starting arguments. Instead, it means moving toward clarity. And families can begin by watching patterns over time and writing down pattern concerns and learning more about substance use disorders in general. You can think about reaching out for professional guidance even. When families respond thoughtfully, they protect both the family system and the person who may be struggling, because clarity allows better decisions. Clarity allows better decisions. So for many families, warning signs eventually lead to a moment that can't be ignored. An overdose scare, an arrest, a hospital visit, or maybe where everything suddenly becomes very real and those moments are overwhelming. Families often feel fear and anger and shock and confusion all at the same time. And in the next video, we're going to talk about what families should focus on in the first 24 hours after a crisis, because those first hours can feel chaotic, but they are also incredibly important. Knowing what to do and knowing what not to do can make a huge difference in what happens next. So make sure you watch the next video. This video series is part of a larger program called When Addiction Hits Home. The full course will launch in late spring 2026, and inside that course, we go much deeper into recognizing patterns and setting boundaries and navigating treatment systems and supporting recovery while protecting your own well-being, helping families rebuild stability and peace. These videos are designed to give you a strong foundation so that when the full course opens, you won't feel lost. You'll already have clarity and language and tools. I'm Angela Murray with Hope for the Helpers. If this video helped you today, please continue following us on TikTok and Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. And remember, if addiction has touched your family, you are not alone. I hope you have the best day.